I was standing in my mother's kitchen with a stack of napkins in my hand when I heard the sentence that stopped me from going home that night. And by the time I finally did, my apartment was wrapped in police tape. My name is Claire. I am 34 years old. The candles were still burning when I heard her voice. I'd only gone into the kitchen to get more napkins. My mother was standing by the sink with my father, her back half turned to me, her voice low in the way it only gets when she doesn't want to be heard. "Don't let her back into that apartment," she said. "Not until we know for sure." My father said something I couldn't make out. Then quieter. "I mean it, Robert." "Not yet." I stood in the doorway with the napkins in my hand, and I didn't move. "Claire?" my mother said, turning around. A smile arrived a half-second too late. "There you are. We need more napkins." "I have them," I said. Behind her, my father was very interested in the dish towel. I didn't let it go. I smiled through the rest of dinner, but I kept circling back to those 7 words. Not "don't let her stay," not "don't let her rent it again." Back into it, like something had already happened there. Dinner ended a little after 9. I hugged my mother, thanked my aunt for the gift certificate, and picked up my coat. "I should get home," I said. My father was on his feet before I'd finished the sentence. "Stay here tonight," he said. "It's late. Your old room's made up." "Dad, I have work in the morning. I need my own clothes, my laptop." "Claire," he said my name in a way I'd only heard a handful of times in my life, the tone he'd used the night my grandmother went into the hospital. "Please, just tonight." "Why?" He didn't answer fast enough. My mother's hand found the back of a chair like she needed something to hold on to. That silence told me more than anything either of them had whispered in that kitchen. "I'm going home," I said. And I walked out before either of them could stop me, though I heard my father's footsteps behind me. Heard him say my name once sharply in the driveway, before I pulled out and left him standing there under the porch light. I told myself it was stubbornness. Looking back, I think some part of me already knew I needed to see it for myself. I saw the lights before I even turned onto my street. Red and blue, reflecting off the wet pavement, off the windows of my own building. 2 unmarked cars, a patrol unit, and a strip of yellow tape stretched across my front door. I parked crooked and didn't care. A man in a plain gray jacket stepped toward me before I reached the steps. "Claire Whitfield?" "Yes, that's my apartment. What happened? Is anyone hurt?" "Detective Ramirez. We have a warrant to search the unit in connection with an active investigation. I'd like you to come with me and answer a few questions." "Questions about what?" "I haven't even been inside in 2 days." "That's actually one of the things we'd like to discuss," he said. And something in the careful, even way he said it made my stomach drop. My father's car pulled up behind mine less than 10 minutes later. He must have followed me the whole way, staying far enough back that I never noticed. When I turned and saw him getting out, ashen-faced, I understood that he had known exactly what I would find here. That was why he'd tried to stop me at the door. At the station, they asked me about mail I didn't remember receiving, about a storage unit 2 towns over with my name listed as a co-renter, which I had never once set foot in, about wire transfers routed through an account that used my apartment as its listed address. "I don't know anything about any of this," I kept saying. The detective slid a printed page across the table. My signature was on it, or something close enough that I had to look twice. "Someone's been using your identity and your address to move money," he said. "We need to understand how much you knew." I sat in that room for 3 hours before they let me go, and by the end of it I understood, with a kind of cold clarity, that I wasn't just a witness to whatever had happened in my apartment. I was a suspect in it. My father drove me back to my parents' house afterward, and it was there, at the kitchen table where he'd once told me my grandmother wasn't going to get better, that he finally told me the rest. 6 weeks earlier, a woman from an unfamiliar company had called their house by mistake, asking for someone named Daniel Ferris about an outstanding compliance matter. Unsettled, my mother had asked my father to quietly check on my apartment, using his key from the lease. What he found, behind the vent panel in my hallway closet, was 3 sealed boxes. Blank mail carrying other people's names. Bank statements for accounts that weren't mine or Daniel's. A small hard drive. A prepaid phone, still charged, still receiving messages. "I called a lawyer before I called the police," my father said, "because I was terrified that if it came out wrong, they'd think it was you. I should have told you the moment I found it. Instead, I tried to keep you out of that apartment until I understood what we were looking at. Tonight, I just ran out of time. Whose names were on the mail?" At least 4 other people. Ramirez thinks there may be more. It looks like Daniel and at least one other person were using. Addresses of people who trusted them, people whose keys they had access to intercept mail and move money before anyone noticed. My chest went tight. Was I the only one who didn't notice? No, my father said quietly. You were just the one he was planning to marry. I was cleared within days. Once investigators matched the forged signatures to Daniel's handwriting and confirmed I'd been elsewhere during the transactions. But being cleared didn't undo the 3 hours in that interview room, or the sight of my own name on paperwork for a crime I hadn't committed. Daniel came looking for the boxes 11 days later. I was alone in the apartment, packing the last of my things, when someone tried the old key in my lock. I'd changed the deadbolt, but not the second lock. And for 3 long seconds, the door actually opened before the chain caught. Claire, let me in. I just need to grab something. It's not what you think. I didn't open it. I called Ramirez's direct line with my hands shaking so badly. I dropped the phone twice. Officers arrived within minutes. Daniel was gone by then, but he was arrested at a bus station 2 states away, carrying a duffel bag of prepaid phones and a folder with 4 more names in it. I never saw him again after that. My mother cried when she finally told me her side of it. 6 weeks of lying awake, terrified that telling me too soon would destroy me for nothing, and telling me too late would let something worse happen first. I was so afraid of being wrong, she said. And then I was so afraid of being right. You were right, I told her. I just wish you'd let me carry some of it with you, instead of both of you carrying it alone. I moved out of that apartment for good that winter. I kept the spider plant. It sits on a different windowsill now, in a smaller place, closer to my parents than I ever expected to live again. Sometimes my mother still lowers her voice out of habit when she thinks something might worry me. I hear it now from the next room, and instead of freezing, I walk in and ask what's going on. She tells me, every time. That's the only apartment I ever needed her to let me back into. If this story stayed with you, tell me in the comments what you would have done in my place. And if you want more stories like this one, make sure you're subscribed, because there's always another family with a secret worth hearing.